Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Bring Back the Love Conversations. I know it's been a little minute since I've been on, but I'm back and better than ever, all of that good stuff. Thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight for another episode where we are always talking about love, romance, R&B, and whatever else falls into the fray. You know what I'm saying? So definitely appreciate everybody for tapping in tonight. And tonight's special guest, so honored to have her on tonight. Awesome sister. Um, a music aficionado. We talked about hip hop, but when I say when it comes to knowing about a lot of different music, a lot of different genres, and just she brings the style, she brings the flavor, she brings all of that. A fashionista, an entrepreneur, a poet, an MC. You know what I'm saying? She do a little bit of everything. None other than my sister Tia Danielle. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast tonight, my sister.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for that lovely, warm, and oh so true introduction.
Because it's got to be true.
Oh so true. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on the podcast. It's an honor to have you on. I know this has been a little minute in the making, but
It's,
it's
it's
well
been a
worth the wait.
minute. Well, you
Yeah.
forgot about me, but we
Nah,
here.
nah, not
We
at all,
here.
not at all. Most people may or may not be paying attention, but I have a brand new background because I've been in the middle of a move. So you know what I'm saying, new digs and all of that
Yeah.
stuff. So that's
Congratulations.
thank you very much. I definitely appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. So you are the first guest that I've had on now in the new digs.
Okay now.
So yeah, so I mean, as always, I always like to start off the conversation just really getting a feel for your introductions or your first memories. And it doesn't have to necessarily be with R&B, it can be R&B as well, but just your first memories of music, um, how you got it, who gave it to you, all of those different things, just telling your origin story.
Well, it's funny because my mother says all the time, like, how do you know all of these songs? Like you're so old, you have such an old soul. And I'm like, I wouldn't know any of these songs if I didn't hear you play them. If I didn't hear you play them. And I'm from New York originally, so we had anybody in the New York area from New York, in the 80s and 90s. I'm an 80s baby, a 90s fly girl. We had 107.5 WBLS. We
Yes.
had 98.7 Kiss FM. We
Yes.
had Hot 97 for hip hop, right? So I remember all of the late night joints on 107.5 and
Hmm.
98.7.
Yeah.
That little do ooh like that was the intro for the joint, and it's just like some things just like stick with you mentally.
Yeah.
It's funny how just bits and pieces of those years just stay with you, and from that it's like whenever I hear like I could hear like the first 30 seconds of something and I'm like, oh, that's such and such. Oh, that's
Hmm.
we was in the car driving to North Carolina this past weekend, and this Patti LaBelle joint came on. Patti LaBelle Feels Like Another One with Big Daddy Kane.
Oh
My mother was
yeah.
about to change the station, and I was like, "No, that's my joint." She thought I was playing
Yeah.
until the joint played, and I started singing along, and she was like, "Oh, this really is your song," and I was like, "Yes," because I remember when she performed the joint with Big Daddy Kane at the Apollo. Like I
Mm.
remember watching
Yeah.
that performance on television. So it all started at home, obviously, and it just grew from there. My love of hip hop, I really can't say where that came from because I don't remember my mother listening to hip hop. I just think it was from me listening to Hot 97
Mhm.
and you know, I just fallen in love with Queen Latifah and MC Light and
Yeah.
females like that, and I just became enamored. Like I thought I was going to be the next best thing in hip hop because of it. And I was like, if they can do it, if they can
Yeah,
if they can do it, and I'm dope at writing poetry, which I found out in the 8th grade, um, then I can do it too. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like that's oh, hold on. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so that's I mean, your origin story is incredible, especially being from New York, because I've
Yeah.
had guests on who are from New York, but like how you threw in the radio stations, Showtime at the Apollo, like all of these different things that like make it specific to where you came up, because I feel like in a lot of ways that helps to drive like your taste, how you receive music, how you appreciate music because of the ways in which you received it. Oh, go ahead.
And it's in my blood. I mean, I have a lot of Caribbean blood flowing through
Mm,
me.
okay.
So it's like I just feel like music is just it's just in my DNA.
Yeah.
It's just in
Yeah.
my DNA. And my family was a party family. Okay. So it was cookouts. It was parties at the house. Like on the weekends at my grandparents and my aunt's house. And even though we weren't allowed in the party, you heard the music.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
heard the music. Like, and I got another example, and I hope I'm not talking too much, but this
Oh
is
no, you
exciting.
good.
Um, and they gonna kill me for telling this story, but my mother's uncle, his kids threw him a retirement party. And for some reason they thought it was a good idea to get some strippers at this retirement party,
Oh.
okay?
Ho ho.
Let me tell you, I will never listen to is it Regina something in the way you make me feel. Does it ring a bell?
Stephanie Mills.
Stephanie Mills.
Yeah.
I will never listen to Stephanie Mills, Something in the Way You Make Me Feel the Same ever again, because that's the song that the female stripper was dancing to at this retirement party. Okay? We was upstairs in the bedroom, okay? But you know, when we got older, we saw videos, okay? We saw the video. And every time I hear that song, it reminds me of when I heard that song.
That is hilarious, because
Yeah.
if you really think of the pace of that song, it makes sense. Like that joke, like slow enough, like it's not like a super fast song. It's
Right.
like mid tempo, so the wine's a little bit different on a
Right.
song
Right.
like that.
Right. Yeah.
Ooh, that's funny. That is funny. I don't think I'm gonna be able to hear that song ever again the
Let
same
me tell
way. Like
you, at least you didn't see the video footage, okay? All you got is the story I'm telling. At least you didn't see the video footage.
I'm a visual person. All I need to get is the story, and I already done formed the picture in my head.
Baby, let me tell you. 80s strippers, totally different. Totally
That-
different.
that's a different kind of stripper right there.
Yes.
Oh man, I mean, just the song choice alone should tell you how much different of a exotic dancer you dealing with.
Listen, and it's interesting too because when you are choosing songs like that, I feel like even though they were stripping, they were dancing, it was way more of an intimate feel during the
Mhm.
process than the feel that you get now when you go to the strip club.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's like the strip club can definitely give sex, right?
Mhm.
But I feel like with songs like that, it just gives you more of an intimate kind of stripping experience.
Yeah, yeah. It's more like it's the difference between sex and sensuality.
Yes.
Like I
Yes.
feel like with sex can be a little bit raunchier,
Yeah.
whereas sensuality, like you can get the sex part of it, but it's a little bit more layers to it. It's a little bit
Yeah.
more like finesse that you get with the sensuality. Like it's the presentation of it. you
It's
know.
all about the presentation, and
Mhm.
you're absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
why when I mean, I don't want to throw myself out there, but I do some modeling.
Okay,
Um, some modeling.
okay.
So and that's the difference. All my images are in black and white. And I just feel like that does make a complete difference from sex to sensuality, because
Yes,
the images that you would see of me, if they were in color, it's just giving you a whole different picture.
right.
But in black and white and with like different editing and lighting and things like that, it
Mhm.
definitely takes a lot of the sex away and brings more sensuality to it.
Yeah, yeah. There's this photographer. I think her name is Laura J. White,
Uh-huh.
and she has like all of her stuff that she does, or the vast majority of it is black and white. And when I say she does color, the black and white stuff hits different than the color stuff.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with the color stuff because it's all in the eye and
Mhm.
how it's captured and how it's presented. But it's something about that black and white aspect that I think it presents a certain layer of simplicity.
Mhm.
And I think when you're talking sensuality, you're kind of getting to, it's like that balance between simplicity and complexity. Like you
Mhm.
have, like I feel like sometimes sex is just too simple. It's too much to the point. Whereas sensuality is like, okay, dig
It's
deeper.
telling a story.
Right. Exactly.
It's telling a
Exactly.
story.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
telling a story. I feel like for me, if you look at images like that, it's like you automatically just have your own interpretation of what it is that you see. But if it's in black and white, for me, it does make you question where the artist's mind frame was in doing it.
Mm, that's a great point.
And like, and the reason why I decided to do these images in black and white also was because I wanted to tell a story like Spike Lee told a story for She's Gotta Have It. She's Gotta
Mm,
Have It was like my inspiration.
yeah. Yeah.
And the I think about the music that Spike Lee uses in his films, and She's Gotta Have It, and Mo Better, is it Mo Better Blues?
Hmm.
Uh um yeah, and things like that. So I thought about all of that and the imagery that I wanted to portray and the story that I wanted to tell with
Yeah.
my black and white images.
Yeah. Yeah. So what made you like get into that? Like what inspired you to want to get into that?
Um, I've always been a sensual, sexual being.
Mm,
Um, but really wasn't, I don't want to say I wasn't comfortable with it, but I wasn't um unapologetic about it
mm, mm.
until I hit my 40s. But it's always been in me from a young child. Like I just always been amazed by how my body looks.
Yeah.
Like always.
Yeah.
And I've always been an exhibitionist. You can ask anyone. And so I'm just like, what can I do with this in the most artistic way? And it just was like, just take the photos. Just take the photos and post the photos.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do modeling. Obviously, I'm not going to be on a runway because I'm extremely short. Um so, this works for me. This is
Yeah.
allowing me to be unapologetically who I am, to be my creative self, to be my sensual self, to be my sexual self. And it just unlocks other parts of my creativity when it comes to my poetry, um, and things like that. Like now I'm intertwining the two
Yeah.
and working on my next book. And so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you said something in the midst of that that I thought was very powerful, specifically when you hit a certain age,
Mhm.
like once you hit your 40s, because I mean, they always talked about how, like, for years, like I would hear like how guys, like our sexual peaks are like way sooner, but women, like a lot of women, they don't hit their sexual peak until 35, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
or later, and I think like a part of that is the it's being not necessarily comfortable, because I mean you just said it, like you've always been amazed by like how your body looked.
Mhm.
So but like it's different when you get to a point where it's just like you embrace it even more, like you're
Mhm.
unapologetic about it, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like
Absolutely.
yeah, like that switch just flips, and once it does you find yourself being more brave, not
Way
just
more
in
brave.
yeah, not just like in your relationships, but specifically in your personal expression, because that's the
Mhm.
biggest thing. Like a lot of times it's easy for us to attach like our sexuality or our sensuality or our experiences to other people, but it first has to start with ourselves and how we see ourselves and how we embrace ourselves.
Yeah, and you have to be sure within yourself. You have to be unapologetic about who you are, because you're going to have people, especially when you put yourself out there like I'm doing, that people are going to have something to say. People are going to question, well, aren't you concerned if somebody else sees this, or if somebody else sees this, and da 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 da. The one thing we all have in common is that we all came into this world nude, okay? We
Yep.
all came here nude, okay? We've all seen nude people, okay? This is not something that's oblivious to anyone.
Hmm.
So, if I have the body, if I have the confidence, and I am sharing it in the most artistic way that I possibly can,
Hmm.
what is the problem?
Yeah.
And a woman's body is like every part of who we are, there is an artistic piece to every part of who we are.
Yes.
So I'm just embracing all of that and hoping that, and I know I probably get a lot more men drawn to the art than women, but I would want women to look at the art that I present and find the confidence within themselves
Hmm.
to become more unapologetic within themselves.
Yeah. And that's powerful, because more women honestly need to feel that. They need to see more examples of that, because society unfortunately celebrates men being free with with their sexuality, being unapologetic about certain things, while they try to make women feel a certain way when they try to express themselves sensually, sexually, whatever it is, with all of these different phrases and pejorative terms or whatever. And it's important when you have somebody like yourself who's willing to celebrate who you are, willing to celebrate your body, willing to celebrate that freedom of expression in that way, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you something based on something you just said. The line that there's a fine line between artistic and crude.
Hmm.
For you, what is that line?
Um, I think for me, it's all in it's all in presentation. Um so all of my art is on OnlyFans, okay? And when I tell people about it, like it's like their mental just automatically goes to sex,
Right.
right?
Right.
And that's not what I'm doing, and that's not what I'm giving. Like you're
Mm-hmm.
never going to see that of me, okay? Um I'm very I'm small, I'm petite, so I really feel like that works in my favor when I'm presenting myself because like everything appears very delicate.
Mm-hmm.
So the presentation in itself really doesn't allow for it to come off crude
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that. Um, I mean, I think it's all in presentation for me.
Yeah.
I think it's really all in, again, black and white images will soften up the most harsh
Mm-hmm.
image.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, yeah.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense, actually. Perfect sense. I actually agree. Like, it's I don't know what it is about the black and white medium, but it doesn't matter what the subject is, it doesn't matter what type of energy you're capturing. It's something about black and white that often softens
And your
certain
pose in the
subjects.
the poses as well. Like
Hmm.
I do research on posing, and you got to do research and see what other people are doing and see what works for you. Um because I just always want to make sure that I'm giving art,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I'm not giving sex. Now
Yeah.
if the art turns you on and makes you want to go to sex, great. But that's
Mm.
I'm trying to make sure I'm giving art. That's like my biggest thing.
Right. Yeah. Definitely understand that. And I respect that totally, because you can't control what's how somebody else receives your
Cannot,
art. You can only
cannot.
control how you deliver it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
my and I know what my intent was with all of it. As long as you stay true to your intent,
Mhm.
then it's nothing nobody can say to make you feel bad about anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that also partially answers the question in terms of the fine line, because I feel like if your intent is pure, if I
Mhm.
can use that word, like if your intent is pure, then I feel like that's what makes it artistic, versus if you're doing it with a specific goal in mind and it's like an ulterior motive to it. I think that's what taints it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, like this is powerful. This is not where I was expecting this
Is it
conversation to go.
staring? Is it
But
staring in a totally different direction? Because
No,
I'm
this is
sorry.
perfect. Actually, this
Okay.
is more perfect than you can understand,
Okay.
especially
Good.
given like where I was going to go with the conversation anyway. But like this is perfect. You know, um, so keeping that in mind,
Yes.
artists like um singers, songs
Hmm.
that kind of fall in line with the type of art that you present. Like, who are some of the
Mm.
artists that kind
Mm.
of like inspire or give you that energy to kind of sort of create and present certain images in the way that you do?
Mm. So, like I said, I'm a 90s fly girl, right? So, you remember Cut Close?
Oh yeah.
Cut Close, Surrender, Cut Close, I
Woo.
like. Um, let's see.
That was a
I
good
was
album.
I posted today in my stories how Tony Braxton's How Many Ways has to
Mm,
be one, like top three of all of her songs. Like that puts
yeah.
me in a mood for sure.
Mm,
Um It puts me in a mood of love, but it also puts me in a mood of sensuality.
Yeah.
Like it's two totally different feelings that I get with that song. Like
Mhm.
like I'm expressing how I feel about you, but I'm expressing how that feeling makes me feel about you.
Yeah.
Um so we have that. We have uh I love Ludacris. Is it Ludacris Sex Room?
I think so. Yeah. That's the one with
Yes.
Trey Songz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely puts me in a mood. I have a sexy playlist, and oh, In Vogue, Don't Go.
Mm. Woo.
Um
Woo, woo, woo. That one right there.
I love me some Raphael Sadiq. So Tony, me and you. It's just
Yeah.
me. Like all of that just
Mhm.
puts me in the zone to
Yeah.
pour out that sensuality in that art. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It makes me feel love, it makes me feel sexy, it makes me feel sensual. Um and listening to those songs, especially when it's a male singing, it makes me feel like I'm the one that they're talking about, or I'm the one that was in the video.
Mhm.
You know, I feel like not every, but a lot of women who listens or grew up in the 90s listening to these R&B songs, we always wanted to feel like we were the ones that were in the video, that we
Mhm.
were the love interest, that we were the ones that was being sung to.
Yeah.
And you know, in all actuality, all we really want is that 90s R&B love.
Yeah. 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 And that's a special kind of love just from all of the songs that you named. Like
Yeah.
those, I mean, once you said, I mean, all of them, but In Vogue Don't Go.
Let
That
me
one
tell
right
you the
there.
most underrated
Woo.
song, the most
Yes.
underrated song,
Yeah.
okay?
They don't give that song
And
enough love.
you know, it's crazy because you listen to those songs as adults and
Mhm.
you be like, that song should not have affected me the way it did at 12 years old. Okay. That song should not have affected me in that way. Okay.
Yeah.
H-Town knocking the boots. I was 13 years old. I should not
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
been listening or understand or comprehended what was happening in that song.
Yeah.
But we did.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't even get me started on like that little 92 to about 94 range of songs that was out at that time. Like, I mean, you name Knocking the Boots. The first time I ever heard SWV Downtown, my naive self was like,
You
well,
was not thinking that they were talking about downtown.
I was not at all. I was like, downtown where? Downtown DC, what?
I'm done.
As soon as they was like, no, downtown, like, damn, like, what? It's like, I'm 13. Like, I'm not supposed to be knowing about this at all.
I'm not even gonna say nothing. I knew what they were talking about, but I'm
I
not.
did not.
I'm gonna let you live.
I did not. I was very naive. I was in my own little world. I didn't know nothing about nothing. I was like, like, hey, certain stuff just went over my head, and I was one of those ones that went over my head. But once stuff stopped going over my head, it was like, oh, I'm catching that, catching that, catching that. You know.
Nah, I was very in tune at a very young age. So like all of those, it's just so many songs to name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Baby Come to Me.
Woo.
Like that song shouldn't have effect. Like I'm telling you, these songs really like touched me. And
Mm,
I just think that at a very young age, I've just been very in tune with the sensual part of myself.
yeah. 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 And I mean, it's kind of a nature of the time. I mean, even though I feel like that music is always like even our parents Like they had songs like that. I don't think it was as prevalent
Yeah.
as it was when we were coming up. Because I mean,
Yeah.
it seemed like every other song was about that, you know. But it just kind of sort of made a progression towards a little bit more suggestive over time. Because it's funny that you named a song like "Baby Come to Me" because that's a very sensual song. Very, I mean, Regina Bell. Like when I think of like R&B singers of that time that were very sensual,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they weren't trying to be. Like I think the first two people I think about, Regina Bell and Karen White. First two people. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's like they just had a delivery. It was like sultriness. I think that's probably the best word. I think that's why I always was a big Tony Braxton fan too, because
Mm-hmm.
Tony Braxton didn't have this, like you name how many ways. Like she wasn't even really singing about sex in that song,
Nope.
but it was a very sensual song because of
Yep.
the way that she delivered it, because of how it was produced, because of like just all of like even the backgrounds, everything how it was put together. It's like it gives you
Mm-hmm.
love, it gives you sensuality, it gives you all of the things you need or want out of a song in one song, you
Right.
know. And I think when you talk art, true art, like when it comes to like R&B songs or songs, period, that's what it should give. It should
It's
give you
gonna
like
make you feel every emotion possible.
right, right.
You're gonna be happy. You're gonna have happy feelings because you
Mm-hmm.
can imagine if you had that you
Yeah,
would feel that way. It's gonna
yeah.
make you mad because you have not have that, and why have I not
Mm,
have that? It's gonna
mm,
make you sad because you had that and you lost that. It's
mm.
it's gonna make you laugh because that is dumb that he let me go and this could have been like it's gonna make you feel every single emotion.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I want you to know right now, this very what you just said, that's a promo right there. That's the promo. I'm like, that's it in a nutshell right there. That could be the promo for the whole series, for real, for real. Like that's
You
it.
have to you have to feel every single emotion.
Yes, yes, wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly agree. Yeah. So we on this track of like talking about sensuality, talking about love, talking about all of these different things.
Mm-hmm.
So this particular is the reason why I say it's perfect is because this particular part of the series
Mm-hmm.
is surrounding the sentiment behind the first kiss. Like,
Okay.
and not every first kiss is going to be fireworks and
Definitely was not.
but certain people you might interact with, like that first kiss, like you really feel like, oh, okay, like I didn't think it was gonna be like that, or I did think it was gonna be like that, but I didn't think it was gonna be like that, like, or it could just completely take you by surprise. So whether it's an experience you actually had or an
Mm-hmm.
experience you want to have, like,
Mm-hmm.
talk about like that something that someone or that moment where like you just felt like your lips on fire, like, oh my gosh, like what in the world, what's going on here?
Um, so when you mentioned first kiss, I'm thinking like my actual first kiss, but I'm guessing it could be a first kiss with anyone in general.
Right, exactly.
Um, there have been a couple of people who have surprised me.
Okay.
Um, and I'm the type of person I'm looking for a lot of passion,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, make me feel like you want me. And this is so fun. I just did a poem at open mic the other night that says something similar to what I'm about to say. So
Okay.
I want the kiss to make me feel like you want me, but not to make me feel like you just want to. Can I curse?
Yes, you can.
Um, don't don't make it seem like you just want to fuck me.
Mhm.
Like wanting me and wanting to fuck me, I feel like are two totally different feelings, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the same thing of sensuality and sex.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm looking for passion. I'm looking for, and I guess this is every woman ideally looking for, you want passion, you want that warm feeling, you know, you want tongue, but don't like try to swallow mine down your throat. Okay. Um, you want you want the lip biting, you want the slowness of it. Like, don't rush the moment.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that that's very important, especially for me, because I am a big kisser. Like,
Yeah.
I think kissing is very important.
Mhm.
Um, and it's an art to it, you
Yes.
know.
Yes.
It's an art to anything. It's an art to any expression.
Yeah.
So it's definitely an art to kissing. Um, and I think that you should tell people.
Yes.
I'm the type of person, I think that you should tell people when it does not work for you.
Mhm.
When it does not work for you. Like, I need you to take your time. I need you to go slower. I need you to let me lead this situation.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So, and then you got to have somebody that's open to receiving what it is that you're saying.
Yes.
And not that and not like you're necessarily putting them down or trying to make them feel bad. I'm just trying to make this situation work for the both of us.
Yeah. And that's powerful. That's
Like,
powerful.
you think that you're doing something to me because you're
Mhm.
feeling something, but I'm not feeling it. But trust and
Mhm.
believe, if you let me lead this, we both gonna feel something and we both gonna be happy.
Mm. That's powerful because for a lot of men out here, that is one of the hardest things to do. Not me, but just I know I can't tell you how many men out here, whether it's with kissing, whether it's with sex, whether it's with relationships, period. Like, I mean, and that actually is going to lead me into my next question. That's a follow-up of what you're saying. But like, the part of the problem is pride,
Hmm.
that a lot of men don't want to be led in that way, or they don't want to admit that they might be lacking in a specific area, because I mean, it is also about presentation in the way that you let somebody down. But you have some men, no matter how you say it to them, they're gonna take it some kind of way, because it's like, what you mean? You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this all this time.
And that's because there was some woman down the line that just let you do whatever it is that
Hmm.
you wanted to do. And so
Hmm.
now you think that you're the best kisser, you think that
Yep.
you're the best lover, you think
Yep.
that you're the best at everything, when in all
Yep.
actuality, she should have been way more truthful with you.
Hmm.
She should have told you some 90s R&B love songs to listen to, to learn
Right.
from.
Right.
Okay? And then you wouldn't be so upset or bothered, or your pride wouldn't be shot by me just
Hmm.
telling you, let me do this.
That's right.
So we both get something out of this.
That's right. That's right. Because
Because
that's what it's.
the interaction is not one-sided. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right. And you said the key word, interaction versus transaction.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Because a lot of times people treat sex as a transaction instead of treating
I
sensuality
don't
as an interaction.
I don't like conversation. I don't like the the conversation about male and female to sound like a transaction. And
Mhm.
even, and just to take it to the left really quick, even when I hear conversations about marriage, and I've never been married, so I really don't know, but I
Mhm.
just hear so many people talking about how marriage is a business.
Yeah.
And I myself, if I get married, when I get married, that is not how I want to go into my marriage. I do not want to look at my marriage. I do not want to look at my partnership with someone as a business,
Mhm.
like at all.
Yeah,
So to use the words transaction, no, it's definitely an interaction. It's two
absolutely.
souls intertwining as one. Like there's
Mhm.
nothing in there. Okay, maybe it's a transfer of energy, but it's not a transaction.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah. Like I don't like to look at it that way. I don't like to refer to it that way. Like any part of a relationship, period. Because yeah, it's interesting that you brought up the marriage aspect of it because a lot of people do treat marriage as a business or a transaction between two people. And it's like this isn't leave the money on the table and roll out in the morning. Like
I just feel like for me, I just don't see how, because love is not a transaction. Like
exactly.
love,
That's an
you
interaction.
exactly.
It's absolutely an interaction. Like I mean, if you look at it, no matter what way you look at it, if you look at it between two people, if you look at it from a spiritual perspective, no matter what, love is interaction.
And if you listen to like love songs,
Mhm.
90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, what, none of those love songs make you feel like it was a transaction.
Right. Right. Yeah.
None of them, at least for me.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I heard in any of these love songs and any of these slow jams and none of them that made me feel like what was being talked about, what I visually saw in these videos, nothing said transaction.
Right. Right. Because what's interesting that we're saying that word. The first thing that comes to mind for me is the word transient. And you think about anything or anybody that's transient, it's something that's fleeting. It's something that comes and goes. Like it's not something that stays. It's not something that's solid. Like there's no foundation there. Like you can just pick up and go at any given moment. Or like it's like, okay, boom, here you go. I'm out.
Mhm.
Like that's how I look at transactional relationships or sexual relationships, like when people look at it as transactional. But when it's interactional, it's like you have to be involved together. You have to
Mhm.
be in it. Like you have to be your mind, your body, your spirit. Everything about you has to be a part of that moment. You are giving you a part of yourself to that person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that just brings me to the whole conversation of what do you bring to the table? I hate that conversation so much. I
With
hate
a
that
passion.
conversation
With a
so much.
passion. Please
So
talk about
much. Like, who started this conversation?
it.
Who went to
Yes.
the table and started this conversation? I have
Yeah.
never heard anybody until maybe the last 5 years ask that
Yeah.
question so many times. What do you bring to the table?
Right. Right. I hate that conversation with a passion. Like, stop. Just stop that. Full stop.
Learn me, get to know me, spend
Hmm.
time with me.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like you'll see what is being offered. You'll
Right.
see what's available to you.
Right.
I
Exactly.
don't have to tell you anything.
Right. Right. Like that's
Like
get that's
if
need
you
to know
don't know what
information.
you if you don't know what I can if you don't know what I can add to you, if you don't know why you were drawn to me,
Hmm.
then why are we even here?
Exactly.
Like you know why you were drawn to me.
Exactly. Go with that. Go with that feeling. Like, and keep digging, keep researching, keep being interested, keep pursuing, keep courting. Like,
That conversation is just so crazy to me. It's
yeah,
just
it really is. Yeah.
again, let's get back to this 90s R&B love, okay? Because
Right.
these conversations that y'all are having are not representing any of that.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. Like that's that newfangled love, if you will. I don't even know if I would call it love. You know what I mean? But it's
That's a
just
transaction. Like,
exactly
what are you giving me before I give you something? What
right,
do like? Come on now.
right. And even if you get it, are you really going to be satisfied once you get it? Are you going
Probably
to
not.
just look for more from somebody else?
Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I feel like that whole conversation and conversations like those are traps, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and people fall for it every single day.
Every day.
Yeah, yeah. But like you said, that's why we're having conversations like these because they're based on bringing back the love.
And the interaction.
Exactly, exactly. Because you need the interaction in the love. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I wanted to circle back to the whole like everything that you were saying in terms of like the passion and certain things that you're looking for. And like a certain it's almost like a sway that you have with somebody like when that kiss is right, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So for you, what does a person's prowess or lack of kissing tell you about them?
Um, that passion may not be their strong suit. And I just think passion is very important when if you're looking for something long term with someone, especially.
Mhm.
Um, passion is important. And not even just like you could like I feel like you could really tell um like if there's a lot of passion within kissing, if there's a lot of passion within lovemaking, I really feel like that passion just extends out into other things. So I'm not only
Mhm.
dealing with a passionate person when it's an interaction between us, like this person has passion for whatever it is that they are interacting with, period.
Yeah.
Um so it just I feel like it shows a lack of passion. I feel like it shows lack of um a lack of understanding
Mhm.
of what it is that I need to get me to the next level. Like you're not in tune.
Mhm.
Um and that you probably really just want to fuck me.
Yeah.
And that's not what I'm looking for.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
mean, because I mean, if we're being honest and we're being serious, um, how many people who just want to fuck you are giving you all of that kissing, all of that passion? They're really not.
Yeah.
They just want to get one off with you.
Mhm.
And so I can tell a lot from what your kisses is not are not doing for me.
Yeah. Yeah. What about on the flip side? What about with somebody who actually knows what they're doing?
I mean, sometimes it can be sometimes a little intimidating. Sometimes. Like, okay, am I gonna be able to keep up with this person?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I've had those moments of wow, this is way more than what I bargained for because and I don't want to make the conversation I don't want to make it too sexual, but I just there are moments where I have kissed people, and there's been so much passion that we didn't need to have sex
Yeah.
for me to.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's like, well, damn. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Are you sure you wanna are you sure you wanna go there now? Because
Like, I'm good.
I'm good. I believe you. Okay, we're good. We're good.
The spoken parts don't need to be spoken. They are already
Spoken
understood.
parts do not need to be spoken.
Yeah, the lean back said it all.
Go from 0 to 100 real quick. Like,
That's when you know. That's when you know it's good.
okay. So yeah. Kissing
Yeah,
is important.
very much so.
The
Very.
kisses are important. The first kiss
Mhm.
is important.
Yeah.
But I also just feel like it has to be something, there has to be something great that led up to that point, right?
Right.
So you have to, there had to have been a connection
Mhm.
in order for that interaction to happen.
Yeah.
So if we have gotten that far,
Mhm.
then we good.
Yeah. 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 Because when you really think about it, like, I mean, a lot of times when people talk about foreplay,
And
they
that's
always,
funny
you know,
because I used to not be a foreplay person.
hmm.
I used
Hmm.
to not be a foreplay person.
Yeah.
I used to be, let's just do this.
Yeah. Come on.
Let's just do this. Um and I wouldn't consider kissing like foreplay. There are like so many other things in between that I would consider foreplay.
Mhm.
Um
Yeah.
but in my 20s and probably my early 30s, I was just like, can we just get straight to the point? Can we just get straight to the point? But again, the older you get, the more unapologetic you become
Mhm.
when you are able to put down that wall and truly express yourself. Like, you want to experience every action leading up to that moment.
Yeah.
Because the one thing is only gonna make the next thing better, and then the next thing better, and then the next thing better.
Yeah.
Um, so now I'm like, yeah, rub me, caress me, suck on these toes, suck on this, suck on that, lick on this, lick on that, lick behind my ear, lick on my neck, lick down my spine. Like, yes, do all of that. Okay. I need all of that done. Okay.
Yeah.
Before you get to that.
Right. Right. Right.
Because I love it. Like, and I just feel like the more a woman steps into her femininity,
Mhm.
that's just what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just what's gonna happen. Like, you want everything that's
Yeah.
going to make you feel good, make you feel like a lady, make you feel appreciated, make you feel wanted. Like, every little bit counts.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. It's a build up, and that's really the point of like when I was bringing up the whole thing about foreplay. Like, a lot of times people attach it just to sex, or they just attach it to physical foreplay. But it's also in what's being spoken before you even get to that point. And it doesn't, and the things that get spoken before you even get to the kiss, before you even get to all of the licking and the sucking and all of that stuff, before you even get to that point, how are you building that woman up beforehand,
Mm-hmm.
so that she even gets to the point where she feels comfortable enough to
Or
want you to
even
be?
how are you building that man up? Like,
Yes,
I
building
don't
the man
like
up too. Yeah,
this is not, it's not a one-sided situation.
right. Exactly. Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
men want to the foreplay too.
Uh huh. Uh huh.
Men
Agree.
want the foreplay. Men want the back rubs, the massages, the kisses on the necks, the
Mhm.
rubbing of the ears, the like you whatever it is that you want, trust and believe the other, if y'all are really in tune, the other person is gonna want the same exact thing.
Yep. Yep. And they're gonna want it
And
repeat.
how do you expect one to know what it is that you want if you're not doing to them what it is that you want done?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Like if I want you to kiss on my neck and bite on my ear and all that other stuff, I'm gonna do that to you, so you can
Mm-hmm.
say, "Oh, she must like this,"
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll
Mm-hmm.
do it to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we're in tune like that, I would feel like that is what you would read from the whole situation.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's an understanding, and some of those things, that's a form of communication, to be able to like express yourself.
Unspoken communication.
Exactly. Exactly. You don't have to say one
And
word.
that's why they say love is not a feeling, love is an action.
That's right. That's right. It's an action. It's a commitment, because you got to be committed to pleasing that other person in every facet of your relationship with that person.
And I feel like
Everything.
all of these 90s R&B songs, all of these love songs for the most part, it's always about pleasing the other person.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's always the build up in the song, like you mentioned earlier about the build up. It's always the build up in the song.
Yeah.
And if you especially if you're listening to this music in the midst of foreplay, in the midst of love making, it's like, how do you not do the same thing?
Right. Right.
How do you not do the same thing? How
Mm.
can you rush through love making when there's nothing in this song that was rushed?
Right. That part.
Like if you're gonna make love to music, like be guided by the music.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Everything about the music, the process it took to create the music, the message in the music, the people singing the music. Like, it's
Yes.
not a fly by night type of deal when you dealing with a lot of these songs. Like, this stuff took time.
Yeah.
Like this ain't microwave. This slow cooking. Let that jump sit on the.
Like Mary J said, don't rush, baby. This loving ain't going nowhere.
That's
Slow it
right.
down.
Come
Keep
on
it right
now.
there. Keep it right there.
Come on now.
Okay? That's that 94 Mary. We like that.
Oh, yes. From one of my favorite albums ever.
The best album.
Yes, absolutely.
The best album.
Yes, yes. You get no argument out of me. Zero.
Anyone who dares to argue that What's the 411 is not Mary's best album, come on now.
What? You got my life now. My life is, for me. That's the one.
For me, it's, I don't know. For me, it's like, it's not too many artists whose first records will not always be the one for me.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mary's What's the 411? If we hip hop a little bit, Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah, agreed.
Now when we talking hip hop, people be wanting to come for me, but it's one artist whose first album I just was not a fan of,
Well,
and I think the second album was much better, and
I
that's
have who you gonna say?
Biggie.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree.
Ready to Die was not my favorite.
No, it wasn't
It
mine.
was not my favorite.
It's so funny you said that. I did this blog post like this was 8 years ago, and that album actually landed on my 5 most overrated albums of all time. Now, Greg,
Overrated.
I
Overrated. I mean, lyrically, okay. But
right.
I mean, when you're talking about an album, you got to go way beyond lyrics here, okay?
Mhm.
Production wise, it was not the best.
No, no, it was definitely not better than what's the joint? Life
Life
After
After
Death.
Death.
Yeah, definitely was not better production wise. It wasn't better storytelling wise either, because like I think about niggas bleed. I think about somebody gotta die. I think about you're nobody till somebody kills you. It's so many songs on that album where he just paints pictures and you feel like you are right there. It's so
Mhm.
cinematic. It's one of the most cinematic albums I've ever heard in my entire life. Like just the songs where he's telling stories. I'm like, nobody's telling stories on this level. Like this is like top tier. Like if you want to know how to tell a story as a hip hop artist, listen to that album. Like serious. Like you kind of got it on Ready to Die, but not. He was more polished. He was so much more polished on that.
I feel like Ready to Die for me, and again, I know it's supposed to be about R&B, but
It's all good. It's all
it's
good.
all good. Um, Ready to Die for me is like a first album. Like it's giving very freshman.
Yeah.
Um, but if you listen to Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt, that even though that was his first album, the way it was put together, the lyrics, the production, the like everything, it
Yeah.
was not giving freshman. It was definitely
Right.
giving senior.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was definitely giving senior.
Which makes
Mary
sense. Which makes sense.
Mary's first album, like it was definitely giving senior. Like it's no way
Yeah.
that this is your first album.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Now
there's no way.
I will say, even though What's the 411 isn't my personal favorite, like in terms of what you're saying, I wholeheartedly agree. Like she was so polished on that first
Yeah,
album, like so
yeah.
polished. Yeah, yeah. Like that's the album that made me
I
fall
feel
in
like
love.
Ready to Die was, and people gonna come for me. I feel like Ready to Die was definitely giving demo tape.
To a certain degree, I can't disagree with
I
you.
mean, we had Big Papa, we had Juicy, but everything else was giving very much demo. To me, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
Don't you? I'm a Brooklyn girl, okay? I am a Brooklyn girl. I
don't pull
love
your don't pull a booklet cards, yo.
I love Big, but I mean, you gotta be honest. You gotta drop the pride, and you gotta be honest.
I mean, the thing is, kind of, sort of. Like now, granted, it doesn't sound as demo tape-ish as like a lot of the songs he put out before he put that album out. Like you listen to Party and Bullshit, like it sounds single but demo tape at the same time. Like it's not as polished as the stuff he came out with after
Yeah,
that. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Even though I love Party and Bullshit, you know. Same thing with Dreams. Dreams sounds very like I'm trying to get on. Let me make this song that I know is gonna get people attention real quick, but it sounds like something that's on a demo tape or something that's
mhm,
on a tape. And again, there's not necessarily anything wrong with that. It's just I'm the type of person like I like polish
Mm-hmm.
to like certain albums, not too much polish, not to the point where it just sounds like okay, the joint is just so glossy that it's sliding off, it's sliding out your CD player. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just too much gloss on it, it's too much shine, too much polish, but enough polish where it feels professional. You know what I mean? And not to say that Ready to Die didn't sound professional, but it's a difference when you go from Ready to Die to Life After Death. Big
Now
difference.
let me now to bring it back to R&B.
Yeah.
Um, I think the joints that worked for him on Ready to Die were Juicy and were Big Papa because of the samples
Yep. Yep.
that were used for those songs.
Yeah.
And I just feel like anytime R&B music is sampled,
hmm
like I haven't really heard a sample that I was just like, why did they approve this? So, and especially at that time in the 90s, like that was the thing to do.
yeah.
That
Yeah.
whole Mary J. Blige What's the 411 album was sample after sample after sample after sample.
Yeah. Yeah. hmm
Um, but again, if you don't know music, you wouldn't have known that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in the conversation of samples now, it's just like now it's a matter of, oh, where's the creativity in the music? I
hmm
feel like when sampling was done in the 90s with these R&B samples, there was a little bit more creativity done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Wholeheartedly agree. And I think that when you think about say like what's the 411 or even going back to like the whole hip hop aspect when like hip hop and R&B blends together and when it blends right, it's always a beautiful thing, especially in the 90s because like if like going back to Biggie's album, you had the album version to One More Chance, which was trash by comparison, let me tell you.
Trash. We
Just
got oh, can we talk about that? We got to talk about album versions and
come on now, come
and
on,
radio and club versions
let's
because
talk about it.
it's some joints that I'm just like, why did they even make this album version?
Yes.
DMX, how's it going down?
Oh,
Album version is
uh,
trash, and it kills me till this day that there are people that I know in hip hop who want to try to tell me that it's the same song.
it's not.
The Faith Evans version in the album version.
Yeah.
Or Lloyd Banks for Karma.
Right.
Karma on the album is not the Karma with Avant
Right.
people.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah. It's those additions. And the thing is, they knew that they needed that touch in order to make it a better single. They knew they needed it. That's why
it's
they did
such
it.
a totally different. I'm telling you, when I listen to Karma with
Mhm.
Avant,
Yeah. Yeah. You can't go back to listening to the loud version.
again I feel like I'm the girl in the video.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm the like I'm telling you, I can listen to Karma 20 times back to back to back to back to back because
Yeah.
that's how good it makes me feel with Avant's version.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
will never have that same feeling listening to that album version.
No. No.
How's it going down? The Faith Evans version, there's a reason why that's the version that they did the video off of.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There's a reason why they used that version. And that video,
Yeah.
man, you ask anybody, I swear. I was the girl in the video in 1998. In 1998, I was the girl in the video. You couldn't tell me
Yeah.
nothing. I
Yeah.
had my hair straight. I had my nails long. I mean, I was like, that's what I want to. That's what I want to do. I want to be in videos. I
Yeah.
want to be in videos so I could be that girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I know girls like a lot of times. You know, you look at music videos and you just want to be the video vixen. Um, I didn't look at her as a video vixen. She was a love interest.
Mm-hmm. There's a
She was a
difference.
love interest. I want to be the love interest in a video.
Yeah.
I want those keys. I want to hear those keys played when I'm walking down the street. I want to hear Faith Evans' voice and DMX ruggedness when I like it just gives you a totally different feeling.
Mm-hmm.
A
Mm-hmm.
totally different feeling when you add an R&B artist onto a track like that.
Yes, absolutely. It just elevates the profile of the song itself, and you really cannot go back to listening to the album version. And it's like, why didn't y'all just go ahead and put this one on the album? But I think a lot of times when they do, like thinking about songs like Karma or thinking about songs like How's It Going Down, they probably couldn't clear them at first for an album version, and they probably got them on later when they was like, okay, well, what we gonna do for a single now? Even though I think they like think about Karma, I think they knew that that song was going to be a single, but they probably couldn't get Avant for the album version at first because a lot of times they got to turn in certain versions of songs so they can turn in the album, and then they kind of sort of figure out like, okay, what songs are we getting a little bit more traction on, or which songs are getting a little bit more like people like it a little bit more, and what can we do to like really, like if we roll this out as a single, how can we really make it successful? And those are two really great examples of when you add an R&B singer to what was just a hip hop single before, or hip hop song before, it just really takes it to that next level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this conversation has far exceeded my expectations. I knew it was going to be great, but I mean, this is top tier right here, top tier combo. So I appreciate you so much, my sister, for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
As always, with all of my guests, because you have so much going on, this is your time to shine, let everybody know what you got going on. Of course, you have the style and fashion, you have the poetry, you got so much going on. Let everybody know what you got going on, how they can reach you, all of that good stuff.
Um, okay, so you can reach me on Instagram at Hello Beautiful the brand. That is my brand. Okay. It's copyrighted, it's LLC, it's me. Okay. And it's all about fashion, self-care, style, everything. Okay. So Hello Beautiful the brand on Instagram. If fashion and style is your thing, that's what you'll see all on my feed. On my stories, I do self-care and health and wellness and things like that. You can follow me on TikTok at the Tia Danielle, I believe. I'm almost for certain. Um, and I just do a little bit of everything on there. I do open mics if you're in the DMV area. I do open mics every Thursday, poetry at Busboys and Poets in Hyattsville. All of my poetry is rated R, so you've been forewarned. So every Thursday from 8 to 10 is open mic at Busboys and Poets. So you can check me there. Um, I did mention my art, and I did mention it's on OnlyFans. So you can DM me on Instagram and I will let you know what you need to do. Um, and what else? I am working on my next book. I do have an ebook out. It's on Amazon. It's called Hello Beautiful, Fashion, Skincare, Health and Wellness. So it's the whole self-care situation. 20 pages, something, a quick read, 9.99, support the girl. And yeah, I think that's it. Did I leave anything out? You told the people that I rap. Mhm.
I had to throw that in there.
I have the ability to spit a hot 16. I started writing when I was 13, 14.
Yeah.
So if somebody needs a feature, I will definitely do a hot 16.
Boom.
I would
Boom.
definitely do a hot 16. But
She
other
put
than
it out
that,
there.
I'm just the self-care and style goddess.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. Own that. Goddess. That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So my sister.
Thank you. Thank you for
No
having
doubt.
me. This was
No
so
doubt.
much fun. I feel like even though we went to the left a little bit and we went to the right a little bit, it always came back to the center, and
That's right.
hopefully it all made sense to the people.
It made sense. Like, see, the thing is, for me, it made sense because I knew where I was going with it. So it was like perfect segues, and you didn't even understand how perfect the segues were. It's like, ooh,
Right.
I'm ready to jump in this joint right now. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I was like, okay, let me reel it in. Let me flesh this thing out a little bit more. But it was perfect. When I say you were the perfect person for this particular episode, like I couldn't have asked anybody else to do this but you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're gonna stay in touch as we always do.
Of course.
Yes, indeed. So we'll be chopping it up real soon, my sister.
Okay, bye.
All right, peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, my sister Tia Danielle on tonight's episode of Bring Back the Love Conversations. And of course, this particular conversation, as all of my conversations have been surrounding music that I have out now. As you all know, my album Love on Rewind is out right now, and the particular song that inspired this particular episode is called Set My Lips on Fire. First Kiss, play a little snippet for y'all real quick. And the album is out right now. If the sound plays, I don't know if it's playing. I don't hear anything. Maybe y'all hear something. I don't know. But at any rate, the album is out right now. Set My Lips on Fire, First Kiss is a part of that album, Love on Rewind, which is out. Containing the single Something New, Fluent in My Language, Resilient, and Rewind. It's now available for purchase and streaming on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Bandcamp, which is ajthrowback.bandcamp.com, also streaming on Tidal. You can also find it on my website, which is bammllc.net/music. Once again, that's bammllc.net/music. And of course, I also, give me 1 second, switching out these banners. If you're not already following me, please make sure that you do so. I'm at a.j.throwback on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And I am also at AJ Throwback on Facebook and at AJ Throwback 928 right here on YouTube. So if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, what you doing, Slim? It's time. It's been time. So make sure that you like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that bell notification so whenever I go live, post a new video, premiere a new video, you'll be among the first to know. I also have merch. I'm wearing one of my pieces right now, the Vampire State University crest that actually I created myself. So, and it actually, I don't know if y'all know this, but this is actually Latin for my brand title, which is balance is a master key in life. So that's that in Latin. So I had to do a little translation, all that, make it fancy. You know how the universities do. It's not a real university. It's not like Trump University, but it's definitely a cool little thing. It's more about being a student of life for life. I also have that shirt on my website. Anyway, if you're interested in merch, I got merch. bammllc.net/shop batch. You can also follow the brand at batch.202 on Facebook and Instagram. That's it. I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Very soon, I'm going to be rolling out a couple of more episodes before we wrap up this limited run series. But I just wanted to, once again, thank my special guest, Tia Danielle, for coming on tonight. Thank you to everybody who watched this live, who will watch this on the replay. And remember, keep the love flowing, keep the love going. It's all about bringing back the love and just keeping that good 90s R&B energy, like my sister said, you know what I'm saying, 80s, late 80s, 90s R&B, that good R&B, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even just limited to a time period. Y'all know good R&B when y'all hear it. You know it, you know how it makes you feel, you know what it makes you want to do, how genuine you want those emotions to be, how genuine you want those actions to be, how you want somebody to make you feel when you are really letting the love flow. So I'm done running my mouth. I want to thank y'all once again for tuning in to another episode of Bring Back the Love Conversations. And until the next time we meet, I want y'all to enjoy y'all weekend. Enjoy the rest of y'all night, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.